Hi, Sellwood staff. This screencast is to prepare you for our Black Lives Matter week of action next week. So I wanted to show you where you can find the information and do a quick walkthrough so you are very clear on what is happening. So you can access the information in two spaces. So if you go into our Google Drive and you scroll down to the Equity Committee, 2020, 2021. Then you will go to the BLM folder, and inside there, click on the daily lessons. What you'll see is each of the lessons here and some other information. You also can go to our Sellwood Canvas page, to modules, and the BLM Week of Action lessons here, which opens up to that same Google Drive. So those are the two ways to get to the information you will need for the week. I'm just going to go back here to our drive, and I'm going to start by opening up the overview guide, which is going to give you the biggest piece of information of all the details. So this is a statement using the Black Lives Matter book and the new Black Lives Matter Uprising book, where the authors talk about rationales for Black Lives Matter and the Week of Action to kind of ground us. You'll find the aim and our purpose for what we're doing, what's happening, why it's happening, the rationale. So you can click on here. It gives you more information about the national movement, and then the 13 guiding principles by clicking here. And then you just see some overall guiding questions for us as a staff, for students and community to think about. Here gives information about the culminating project that will happen at the end of the week. There's a slideshow presentation that you can hopefully go throughout the week. So if you click on it, it will show you. So hopefully, since you have the same group, you can find some time to introduce it each of the days if you have some extra time, so that by the time students get to Friday, they know what to do. I embedded a little time on Thursday, but the more that we can address it throughout the week, that will be helpful. So the easy way to just introduce them to it is to show the Black Lives Matter flyer, which provides the information that students and families will need. So you can see it gives an introduction to families, ask them what we're going to do. Next Thursday, I will be there helping pass out poster boards. We have one time, but if there's another need, we can try to figure that out as well. Information on taking their photo and sending it in, our email address and how to name it in the subject line. And then the other part of the flyer shows some ideas for students. So this is something that might be helpful to share. I did not necessarily embed that in the first lesson, so I'm asking you to just find that time to do that throughout the course of the week. Then there's the family calendar, which Jandre will link in our family newsletter. But you also are more than welcome to continue to share it with your families in different avenues. I think the more that they get information is helpful. So it provides an overview of what we're doing for the week of action in a statement. And then each day has the topics that we're doing in class, some questions for them to think about as families, some resources that might be helpful, and then a question about the actionable commitments that they can take. Okay, so then if we keep going down, here's information on the revised schedule that we've talked about. So the Black Lives Matter lessons will happen in your third period classes from 9:30 to 10:10. Students will then have 5 minutes to get to either first or fourth, and you'll have a 30-minute class. They'll have a 15-minute break, second and fifth period from 11 to 11:30, and then third or sixth period from 11:45 to 12:15. On Friday, we talked about this in the staff meeting. We're in the process of creating a Canvas template that everybody can use, that you'll use for your third period class. and it will give directions on a Google form. I actually need to link it here so you can see it. I'll do that when I'm done. Then this just gives you some resources that the counselors have put together about talking with students, and explains that they will also have spaces and times where students can further process information if needed. So if for some reason a student is having trouble or harm happens, they can go to Miss Susan's door from 9:30 to 10. So that's an important thing to remember. We've provided a couple email templates in case students miss class, and how you can support them. If you have students of color who might be experiencing some concerns, that's right here. Then some general sentence stems here that just focus on things that may come up when talking about race. And then since we are working on the 4 agreements, we put some affirmations and some ideas for redirection here, in case so that you can reinforce what those look like and help students create that brave community. And then also if students need to be directed, if there are conversations that are harmful and need to be restorative. And then there's some other videos and resources here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that, our guide. And here's our learning outline. And this is from the Teaching for Black Lives book by 3 core authors of color from Rethinking Schools. And so I just put a quote here that kind of guided the lesson planning and development, so that you are aware as you're thinking about it. And it's really important to highlight this, that students have critical self-reflection on grounding our curriculum and teaching in the lives and communities of students, and then orienting towards community activism and social transformation. So you'll see that in the design of the lessons. Then here is the outline that gives you the topic, the date. So for the first day on February 1st, on Monday, here are the 4 topics covered. Here's the essential question that's going to happen. Here's the overall learning intentions we hope students will take away. And then you'll see you have a presentation, and there's a PowerPoint. So I encourage each of you to download the entire folder from Google, and I'll share that in a minute, so that you have your own copy of the materials, so that if you need to make some adaptations or things for your class or add Padlets or different things, then you'll have your own set of materials. So you'll see a consistent structure across each of the PowerPoints. It starts with our just an introduction, Sellwood Middle School and the Week of Action, moves into a land acknowledgement, then just centers that we're moving into Black Lives Matter, which is the logo for the national movement for 2021. Then we have just a grounding picture to get students thinking about what they notice, and then a critical self-reflection based on either quotes or other things. So there's always some sort of grounding or quote. Moving into the learning intentions, and then having the essential question for the day for students to think about. Then throughout the rest of it is the core concepts or task activities to help students engage in thinking deeper about the content. Then each day ends with this slide, activism. Now that I know, I will. So that idea about moving them towards social action. And then the last side is Black Lives Matter. And I put that there because when we're talking about race, it's helpful to ground ourselves and center ourselves again. So opportunity to maybe take 3 big deep breaths or just a moments of silence so that students can get ready to transition for the rest of the day. So that you'll see that consistent structure throughout all the lessons. And you keep going down and you have lesson materials, sometimes some background resources for you to look at. So that's really the gist of how things will go. There's also a family calendar and the Black Lives Matter flyer here. I talked about downloading. So if you need to download this, just go right over here to the 3 vertical dots, click on download, and So that just did the overview guide because I only did that. If you want to download, let's see. Oh, I think you can download the whole folder. If you hold on, if you're on Command or probably Control, and then I have each of these documents, go back here and then click download. You'll see it says it's zipping the files and it's going to download them. Then you'll have your access for your own resources for the week. Okay. The last thing I want to show you is on our Sellwood main page. So you can help your students and families, especially when we get to that project for Friday. We have on our banner now that we're participating in the Black Lives Matter Week of Action. And if they click on the resources here, it brings them to the same Google folder so that they can access and show their families to look at information again. Or after class, students can look at the slideshows and access them. So I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, please just contact me and I'll help you out.